So from the concepts that we have learned till now, that is all the t dot dist, t dot inb, norm dot dist, or norm dot inb function. These are all very basic functions which will be used along with other functions or formulas in order to calculate different values that we need for calculation of either the population mean or the confidence interval. So for that, again, we will go back to Z statistics and T statistics. So these are the two building blocks of statistics, whether you do hypothesis testing or any other testing, like even if you do correlation, regression as well, you will still go ahead and use hypothesis testing in order to prove whether there is a correlation or association between two variables, or if there is an association, then what is the regression formula of how the x variables impact your y variable. So more or less here and there, you will have to use hypothesis testing in a lot of places. And for doing that, you need these two, Z statistics and T statistics. So in Excel, there is a different way of calculating Z statistics and T statistics. In other softwares like SPSS or R or Python, any of the softwares also you can do this hypothesis testing. There, the method of doing hypothesis testing will be slightly different. So we'll be looking at two softwares. One is Excel and one is SPSS software, because you'll be using SPSS software in your third year for your projects. So I'm giving much more importance to these two softwares. So now for this, if you remember, the formula for Z statistics will be x bar minus mu by sigma by square root n. So your x bar is your sample mean, your mu is your population mean, your sigma is your population standard deviation, and n, this is nothing but the sample size. Okay, so this is by using this particular formula. So you need to remember this particular formula. I am not going into the concept or into the detail of how we have arrived at this particular formula. This has already been taught in statistics, so I'm not repeating that. So you just need to remember this formula because you'll be using it a lot while you're doing your calculations. So now in this particular formula, if you can see, you have population standard deviation. Okay, population mean we have to find, so that's not a worry. Population standard deviation is not known to us in any real scenarios. Okay, so if you are working on any real data set or a real scenario, this particular information will always not be given to you, will not be able to calculate also unless and until you know the, or you have collected response from the total population. Okay, so this one is not possible to calculate and to know the value. So we will not be using this Z statistics unless and until this particular value, which is population standard deviation, is given to you in the question. Most of the times this value will not be given to you in the question. So this Z statistic is out of scope for using most of the times. So we'll mostly stick to this in formula, where instead of the population standard deviation, we are going to replace it with sample standard deviation, small s. So now out of the total population, since we always randomly select a small sample of sample size n, so we can easily calculate the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. This is easy to calculate. You can calculate. It's not that you cannot calculate that. So therefore, the Z statistics formula, where we have used population standard deviation, we are just replacing it with sample standard deviation S. Now this formula will become your T statistics. Okay, there is only just one change. Your sigma is getting changed to smallest, and therefore this Z statistics formula is converting to your T statistics formula. Okay. So I'm just repeating this concept again. There is two things, basic building blocks, that is Z statistics and T statistics. So these formulas that you see, this one and this one, you need to remember because you will be using it a lot while doing the calculation for margin of error in order to find your upper limit and lower limit of confidence interval. You will be needing all these formulas, these two formulas. So you need to remember that. So Z statistics formula is your sample standard, sample mean minus your population mean by your population standard deviation by square root of n, which is nothing but the sample size. So this, in this particular formula of Z statistics, you have four information. One is the sample mean, population standard deviation, and sample size. Population mean we have to calculate, so that is the thing that we need to find. X bar and n you will know. This is the sample mean and the sample size, so we can easily get to know that from the question. But this population standard deviation is quite difficult to know what exactly is the value, because in most of the cases in real scenarios, it is not possible for us to calculate by any means the population standard deviation unless and until you have collected responses from the whole population. Okay, so each and every individual of that population is surveyed, or they have been asked to fill up a questionnaire and their response is collected. Then only we'll be able to easily by different techniques calculate the population standard deviation. Otherwise, it's quite a very huge task. So therefore, Z statistics will not be used much unless and until your population standard deviation is known to you. Either, for example, since we are going to solve problems, questions will be given to you. So until and unless your population standard deviation is mentioned in the question that population standard deviation value is this much, you cannot use the Z statistics. Only when it is given, you will use the Z statistics. Otherwise, we will mostly stick with T statistics, where there is just one difference between this and this. That is, your population standard deviation is just replaced with your sample standard deviation small s. Just changing this one item or one value, you will get your T statistics. So these are the two formulas that you need to. Now, when to use what? Like I was saying, when you know your population standard deviation, then use these statistics. If you do not know your population standard deviation, and if your sample standard deviation is given to you in the question, then you can use T statistics. Otherwise, you can, from the data set which has been given to you, you can calculate sample standard deviation and then use it. So in these cases only, you will use either Z statistics or T statistics, depending upon the situation. So today's class will be focused on this particular question, where the question is a random sample of 20 observations from a population data had a mean equal to 70. The standard deviation of the population data is 10. You have to find the population mean for 85% confidence level. Okay, so you have to first find the confidence interval and then calculate the upper limit, lower limit, and that will be the range in which your population mean will lie. Okay, so now you know the question. Okay, so we will now look into the Excel of how we can do this. Now, before we move on to the Excel, I am just diagrammatically showing you what exactly we're going to do. Okay, so if we have a normal distribution like this, 85% confidence level will be somewhere in between here. Okay, Now, out of 100%, 85% is accounted for. So we know for 85% confidence level, we need to find. The remaining 50% is your alpha value. That is outside the confidence level, or you can say the confidence interval, because this is the lower limit and this is the upper limit. So outside this confidence interval, you have your alpha value. So this area and this area, both the tails are your alpha. So now 85% out of 100%, the remaining is 15%. Okay. We have two tails, one on the left and one on the right. So what I'm doing is 15% by 2. So you have 7.5% on the left and 7.5% on the right. Okay. That is how you get this 7.5% and 7.5%. इसके बाद we will then make use of it and calculate our confidence interval and then upper limit and lower limit. For doing that, we are going to use the Z statistics. There is a small modification in the formula. What I'm going to do is X bar minus absolute of Z value, that is alpha by 2, because alpha I have on both the sides, on left and right. So I'm going to do by 2. If there is only one tail, that is, for example, if this distribution only has a tail towards it right, then you will just use alpha. You will not do by 2. Okay, so we'll see your problems in that. So you'll understand when to use alpha by 2 and then when to use alpha. For now, since we have two tails, you remember that we have to use alpha by into your sigma by square root n. So this is just one small modification in this particular formula. Now for this, you will have to calculate this value. You need to calculate this calculation and then subtract it from the sample mean and add it with sample mean to get your lower limit and your upper limit. How do we calculate is what we're going to see in Excel. So in this Excel, again, I have the same question there. Okay, so you have the same question and whatever data that we have in the data is given over here. It would be good if you can write it like this, so it becomes easier for you to calculate and also refer back to that.
Ma'am, can you please speak loud because your voice is coming too low from my end.
Okay. So this is a question. Okay. Now, the question I would suggest you that you write each of the values which are given to you in, for example, in one column you have the names and in the other column you have the values. Now, why I'm saying so is because instead of typing in the values in your formula, you can refer back to that exact cell in that particular formula rather than typing it. That is a reason why I'm making two columns like this. So we know a confidence level is 85%. So the remaining alpha value is actually 15%. So I'm just writing it as 0.15, or you can also write it as 15%. Okay. The X bar is 70. Sigma, this is nothing but your population standard deviation, which is 10, and N is 20. Okay, so please kindly write it also. I'll just give you 2 minutes to quickly write these information in your Excel. Once anyone is done, please just quickly tell me yes or no, and then I can proceed.
Yes.
Now, once you are done, there in the formula which I had shown in the PPT.
I'm wait for 1 minute. I'm wait. It's not completed yet.
So now what we're going to do is in the formula which I had shown just now in the presentation, there was something called Z alpha by 2, right? So we need to calculate this Z alpha by 2 in order to calculate our margin of error. So once we do this, I'll again go back to the slides and exactly explain again what we have done in Excel. So here for calculating Z alpha by 2, you will use norm.inv. Okay. So we are interested in finding out the X value. We know what is the confidence level, 85%. We know what is our alpha value. So we will not be using norm.dist because when the X value is given to us, we make use of it to calculate the probability area alpha. But here it is just the opposite. Therefore, I'm using norm.inv. I hope this is clear why we're using norm.inv. You have three inputs that you need to give. Okay, the first one is the probability. The probability is this particular alpha value, the probability area. So we are not going to use of 85% because that is the center area, which for on either side we have the upper and the lower limit that we need to find. So 85% we're not going to do anything. The remaining 50% only we're going to use. So 15%. Since we have two tails, normal distribution में two tails होता है, therefore by comma again normal distribution we know that mean is 0 and your standard deviation is 1. For a normal distribution by default you need to remember your mean is 0 and your standard deviation is 1. Therefore these two values that you give for a normal distribution will be always constant, irrespective whether it is given in the question or not. If you're using a normal distribution, just put mean 0, standard deviation as 1. Okay, do this and click on enter. So you will get some value of minus 1.43953 as your value. Fine. Now, once you get this value, margin of error calculation will come into picture. So this is just one portion of z alpha by 2, absolute value of z alpha by 2 into your population standard deviation by square root n. So we have just calculated z alpha by 2. We need to multiply this value with our population standard deviation by square root of n. Okay. So how do you write absolute of z alpha by 2? There is a formula called ABS. Okay. Just type that and just click on this. You have to give the number. So the number is nothing but z alpha by 2 value. So this value, close it, into open brackets again, your standard deviation of population 10 by square root of n. Okay, so we need to do square root of n. There is a formula again, square root. Use that and give the number n and close. This formula is clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, click enter. You will get 3.21889. Okay, so this is one way of calculating your margin of error. You have to follow basically two steps. First, calculate z alpha by 2, then absolute of z alpha by 2 into your population standard deviation by square root n. There is an easier method for calculating the same thing. You can use, you can use confidence.norm. In some Excel, you will not have this, okay? If it is a lower version of Excel, you might not have confidence.norm. In that case, you will have to make use of these two steps to calculate your margin of error. Those versions of Excel which has confidence.norm, you can straight away go ahead and use this. You need to give your alpha value, comma, your standard deviation, comma, your size, close, enter. You will get the same value. Okay. So I've explained both the methods of calculation of your margin of error. You can use any one, depending upon which version of Excel you are using and if this particular formula is available in the Excel. Yeah.
Ma'am, so the alternate formula once again.
Yes, ma'am, please.
The alternate formula is confidence.norm. Okay. And the input values are your alpha value, your standard deviation, that is population standard deviation, and your size. So all these informations I have here. So I am just selecting all those cells. Then click enter. You will get the same answer as you have got over here for margin of error. Fine. So now we have got
Ma'am,
one second. Now, once you get your margin of error, now we just need to add this value, this 3.21889. We have to add it with X bar and subtract it with X bar to get an upper limit and lower limit. So that is where we have these two values that we have to find. So here equal to just X bar plus your margin of error, any margin of error you choose. So you'll get your upper limit. So upper limit is X bar plus your margin of error. Lower limit is X bar minus your margin of error. So you should get 73.22 as your upper limit and 66.78 as your lower limit. Getting it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So
once you can show the formula.
upper limit is X bar plus your margin of error, which you have calculated. Okay. And your lower limit is X bar minus your margin of error. You will get your lower limit. Okay. Now,
Okay.
please do not stop after finding your upper limit and lower limit. This is not the end of your solution. You need to interpret this particular values of upper limit and lower limit because your question is confidence interval for population mean. So your final answer in after calculating everything will be, that is basically your interpretation, or you can say the final answer solution is that your population mean, which you have to find, will lie between your upper limit 73.22 and lower limit 66.78. If you have, for example, the data set which has been given to you, for example, height, okay, and you need to calculate the population mean height, okay, for example, then you need to use, if the height is given in centimeters or if the height is given in inches, then you will write 73.22 centimeter or 73.22 inches. So that particular this values also should be mentioned in your upper limit and lower limit. Right now, we do not have any such values given over here. So we're just going to use that the population mean will lie between 73.22 and 66.78. This will be your final answer. If you miss this particular step, then your marks will be reduced accordingly. Yeah. Okay, so if you can see my slides, okay, I hope it is visible. So you can see this was the formula which I had shown last, and we had to calculate these values in order to calculate our lower limit and our upper limit. So we had to calculate first z alpha by 2. That is what we had done. We had calculated norm.inv using that particular formula because we needed to calculate this x value. We knew this LO area, that is a probability area alpha, and we had to calculate x. Therefore, we had used norm.inv. Since we had two tails, as I had shown in the previous slide, in this particular picture, I have not put as two tails. So we have two tails, so by 2, and comma mean, comma standard deviation. So we have arrived at 3.2189. After multiplying it with your standard deviation and square root of n. After that, we have just done x bar minus your margin of error. This is basically margin of error. So x bar minus margin of error and x bar plus margin of error, and arrived at this particular value of 66.78 and 73.22. So final conclusion answer is with 85% confidence. The average mean of the population is between 66.78 and 73.22 based on the sample data. Clear? So, itna you will have to write, then only your problem ends. Clear?